somebody an inch to take a yard. He took a yard with that one.
Exactly.
Come on, Joe.
Come on, man.
So you got the first week numbers, man. I know you had that up. You know, a lot of people dropped. DJ Khaled dropped. We talked about Jay-Z the other day. His song with Weezy. Weezy said some shit on there too, which I saw people posting up over the weekend.
Yes, he did.
How people, you know, pretty much are carbon copies of him. That's real. The face, I think he said like face tats.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dreadlocks and all that. That's 100% real.
He was doing his thing on that shit.
Definitely, you know, he birthed a whole generation of wannabe Weezys, which is not necessarily a bad thing because he did something great, but that's the facts there. But let's talk about the first week numbers, man. A lot of people came in this week as far as numbers wise, and a lot of numbers were good, some were great, but some were abysmal.
Let's start with the guy this, since we're talking about Weezy's verse on the John. They are on pace. Khaled is on pace to do 115K for the week. Pretty interesting. It's a debate of whether or not that's a big L or a terrible flop, or
right.
a big L or a big W. That's debatable. Nicki Minaj's compilation album of Queen Radio Volume 1 is on pace to sell 30,000 for the first week. It's kind of rough. Let me see what else we got going on. I know I seen a couple more. Rod Wave, Beautiful Minds on pace to sell 115 for the first week. That's pretty impressive.
Right.
If you ask me, Meg Thee Stallion, Traumatized, sells 63,000 for the first week. What's your thought on? Let's stop right there real quick. What's your thought on that? Because we see everything that's going on, and we kind of were a part of everything. Not as far as stirring the pot, but kind of giving journalism and giving media towards the situation, talking to Carl Crawford,
right?
And not able to post shit, but talking to him nonetheless. What's your thoughts on Meg Thee Stallion and all this shit in 63 for the first week? Do you think just because of all the hype that she would have did at least over 100?
I think, yeah, I would think so, man. It's just the way. Like, the way we was looking at stuff back in the day is definitely different. Like, the calculations are different. Like, you know what I mean? Usually, like, if you ain't do 500K, 800K, you ain't go gold, you flopped back in the day. And not necessarily, but, like, most of the big artists, they had to do that.
Right.
In order to be, you know what I mean, you know, saying that the album was good. Now you got people getting, like, 60K, which I think that might be a lot for a Nicki Minaj album at this point. I think when you start getting, you know, when you start talking about stuff going wood, you like 10, 15s. You know, especially people on majors. Like, if somebody independent, that may be good for them.
Right,
but like somebody on a major with all the marketing, all the backing, all the publicity that you get, you know, paying blogs to post different things and, you know, magazines and interviews and all that.
Shit ain't cheap.
You only can conjure up, you know, 20 to 30,000 streams. Now I was looking over the stream thing, and he said it's counted when someone listens for 30 seconds or more. You know what I mean? This is from artists.spotify.com. It says download music. We count streams when a listener goes online, which must happen at least once every 30 days. And then it says release stream count. All song streams from the release added up. Note, if a song appears on multiple releases, it counts towards the stream count on every release. So that's a little bit, I guess, a little bit more clarity on it. But all right, let's just say it's a listen. That's just, you know, it's a listen. So you don't mean to tell me that only this many people listen to your, when you got, you know, millions of people that follow you on the, and I ain't talking about somebody who's following you just for something. There's somebody who's following your persona. Like, they rocking with you most of the time if they follow you. You don't need conjuring up that. I think, you know, it's the new kind of the new thing now. Because what Bad Bunny do? 100-something thousand?
108.
108. So I guess you could say doing 100,000 is probably like doing 500,000 back in the day.
Yeah.
If I had to equate it to anything, in my opinion. So
Gold.
I can't say that it flopped.
It's gold.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but we platinum is, I guess, a thing of the past. We ain't seeing too many platinum shits dropping to, I mean,
Drake.
what's the equivalent of,
Right.
those type numbers.
But DJ Khaled, let's talk about that, because it's like, people were saying, like, this dude got all these artists, all the top artists in the game on there, right? And you only get 115,000 first week. How do you feel about that?
I don't think people believe. I think that we see one thing about DJ Khaled when it's portrayed on the internet. I think that what is portrayed about him on the streets are completely different, and it's shown and it's proven when we see numbers like this, because people don't believe in the gimmick that is DJ Khaled. Now, I'm not taking away from this man's work ethic. I'm not trying to be one of those haters that he talks about and shines on, But let's just talk about the facts. People in this culture don't really accept them. I remember when you dropped this video back in the day on your platform, and he got so mad that he kind of cried a wolf, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, asked some questions because he was getting booed mercifully off the goddamn stage because people weren't buying the gimmick.
Yeah.
And I don't care what people you have on the record and things like that. When you got your name attached to it and your things, people don't buy into it. And what record is anybody talking about outside of God did, Jay-Z, Wayne, Rick Ross, my man, I think it was Friday, I think his name is, and John Legend. And who's talking about anything other than Jay-Z's verse? Now, recently, they talking about Wayne's verse. So ain't much talk going on about the Jones, so it doesn't surprise me, but disappointing? Hell yeah, nonetheless. He had an all-star team on that shit.
Yeah, and I think that's the way you got to view it at this point in time. Anything less than that, I think we taking away from the art form at this point. All these great artists, all the artists, about 21 Savage, Little Baby, Dirk, like all these guys are at the top of their game. And this is the only numbers that it do. But when Dirk put up a video doing $1 million in a day, I don't get it. It has to be something else in there that, like you said, maybe I don't know if it's DJ Khaled. Now, do you think that he's a culture vulture? A lot of people are throwing that out there about DJ Khaled.
I'm thinking about the culture vulture. I've never boxed him into that. I listen to that over more of a Fat Joe. But let me put it this way. I don't know the groundwork he put in Miami. I don't know how he was raised. I don't know what he grew up under. You know what I'm saying? If he grew up similar to Fat Joe, just different locations, then I have a little bit of reservation of calling him a vulture if he was always in there. But if he just came out, you know what I mean, from a dad selling stores and shit, and he was kind of in the culture taken from motherfucking niggas anyway, I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know.
I think, anytime you ask somebody something, you always got to get the operational definition of it. I think when you're asking, that's only how it's going to be real clear with people, man. And with him, I'm kind of right there with you. I don't know if I can really pin that on him, because my question would be, as you put like the first part of the Culture Vulture, like how they came up, was they a part of hip hop? Then it's about what you giving back.
Word.
Too. What is he giving back? I'm not sure.
Right.
Maybe you can say giving rappers opportunities, people opportunities, but these people's already on.
They on.
That's operational definition. I guess you could probably say yes, but then you can probably go back and look and say, okay, this dude's been a part of this thing for the whole time. Like, he came up in these areas, he was DJing, he was doing this. He is hip hop.
Right.
You could say that too. So I'm kind of in the middle with it. I think time would tell. I'm sure people will come, but no, he's a vulture.
That's
Just because he's an Arab,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? An Arab dude or whatever from the Middle East don't mean that you're a vulture.
And not everybody non-black in hip-hop is a vulture.
Right.
Can't put that on them.
Right.
Like, give me the Fat Joe. That's Remy Ma's god dad. You know what I mean? Like, to her, that's family right there. Now,
Right.
And not to say that Remy Ma's the definition of hip-hop, but that's a strong piece of fucking hip-hop. You know what I'm saying? And that's family. That's like, this is deeper than rap. Hip-hop is a culture, and he is within the culture, believe it or not. You know what I mean? Did they help create the culture? Yeah, that's debatable, but he's a part of the culture nonetheless. I wouldn't go that far, and I'm a little strongly more towards him than Khaled, but
These
right
dudes,
now,
they got to do better. I mean, the giving back thing, I don't know what they're doing, like, personally, but I would like to see, some of these guys and big reaching down. Maybe they are, you know what I mean, and bringing people up underneath them somehow.
Right.
I don't know if I seen that with Fat Joe too much. I guess you could say with Terror Squad, but half of them dudes is back in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Now, is it Fat Joe's fault? I can't say that. You know what I'm saying? Big Pun passed away. That was his biggest artist at the time. But there was some other guys on there who did their thing too. But they back at home, a lot of them, with their moms and whatnot. So, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where you let time continue to write the story. And then you can't say Jake, because look all the people came up to Jay-Z.
Yeah. He told your ass.
Right. And then you look at Diddy, how many people? Birdman, a lot.
Yep.
Master P, good people came up to him. You know what I mean? Some failures, but a lot of successes. When you talk about Fat Joe, who? Tony Sunshine? I mean, like,
No.
right? Like, who?
Right.
I'm just saying.
A lot of them don't get along with him anymore.
DJ Khaled. Maybe there are some people. I know him and Ace Hood. I don't think they cool anymore, so I just don't know. Not blaming it on them, but I think it's time is going to tell more.
Right. Shout out to Ace Hood. I seen him out there doing this thing, man, and a great rapper. But what did he? Yeah, that was a shaky one. That was probably one of his top ones.
Who else Miami's hot? Right. Who was coming through DJ Khaled in Miami? I just. Do you know?
No,
I could be wrong. People in the comments, let us know.
He's going to Atlanta and New York for him.
Right.
I mean, Houston.
And that's what you should want to come from your area and come, if you got a label and whatnot, get talent from your area. Obviously, you see Royce even going to a couple Detroit guys, and
Yep.
you see Memphis doing it. Look at Yo Gotti.
Yep.
He's the definition of that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yo Gotti,
Tennessee
black
eating.
youngster, right? He did shit with the Cat Big 30.
Money bag.
Right? Your money bag, so it's just like. I think that's how it's measured, man. I think that's, you got to have some people that's going to come beneath you that's going to be successful as well.
Great point.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all we got.
Yeah, definitely, man. Another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast is in the books. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys share the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel no matter where you're watching this at. Man, that's your brother Sam, man. Viral Hip Hop News. I'm your brother, Oh God. Hip Hop News Uncensored together with the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. Over and out.